Hello and welcome to the Rainy Night Listens podcast. I'm Haley.
And I'm Wyatt, and this is the podcast that you save for a rainy night instead of a rainy day. Alright, and today we are doing Candle Cove. This one's going to be a short one because, those of you who know what Candle Cove is know that it's just short. So, what do you think this is going to be?
I've heard of this, but it's been a really long time, and so I don't really remember anything about it. I just know it was like some thing with like kids seeing a show that wasn't actually a show or something, if I'm even remembering the right thing.
Yeah, no, that's about right. Well, my description is just as short. I said, what is Candle Cove? I said, it's a creepypasta that is about a kids show that many people remember from when they were young, but just can't fully recall it. But before I meant to say too much, I'll just read it. But before I read it, we're going to do this. It's his day. It's his time of day.
Hagen.
Hagen. Hagen.
Hagen.
A.
A. A?
A?
That's his word of the day.
A?
That's a good one.
The word of the day. A?
A? A? And then I showed some pictures here, but I'm going to leave. You get a quick glimpse of them. Then I'm going to go back to this. As I get a little bit further into the story, I'll bring it back to the pictures just so then you understand it better.
Oh, okay, deal.
But yeah, this one's it's just kind of a short nostalgia forum post. Someone by the name of Skyshale033 posted something with the subject of Candle Cove local kids show ? And they said, does anyone remember this kids show? It's called Candle Cove, and I must have been 6 or 7. I never found reference to it anywhere, so I think it's on a local station around 1971 or 1972. I lived in Ironton at the time. I don't remember which station, but I do remember it was on at a weird time, like 4 p.m. That's our beginning.
Okay, so hold on real quick. So this person, are they like fake within the creepypasta making this story up?
So this is the story. So I believe the original maker was like Kris Straub or something like that.
So even like the poster, quote unquote poster.
Yeah, the posts are the story.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's the name. I had it a second ago, but I lost it. I will. Here, I'll find it real fast because I do feel like this person deserves, recognition for what they did. Is it this one? It's not. Crap. Okay, give me just one second. Alright, yeah, it says right here on the Wikipedia, it was written by web cartoonist and author Kris Straub. I hope I said that last name right, but I forgot to put that in the credits or the sources.
Oh, gotcha.
So I thought it should be good that I specify it here in the video. But yeah, back to it. Someone named Mike Painter 65 responds with subject response Candle Cove local kids show. He says, it's really familiar to me. I grew up outside of Ashland and was 9 years old in 72. Candle Cove, was it about pirates? I remember a pirate marionette at the mouth of a cave talking to a little girl. And Skyshale responds with, yes, okay, I'm not crazy. I remember Pirate Percy. I was always kind of scared of him. He looked like he was built from parts of other dolls, real low budget. His head was an old porcelain baby doll.
Ew.
Looked like an antique that didn't belong on the body. I don't remember what station this was. I don't think it was WTSF, though. I don't know what that is. But, then Someone else named Jaren underscore 2005 responds with, "Sorry to resurrect this old thread, but I know exactly what show you mean, Skyshale. I think Candle Cove ran for only a couple months in 71, not 72. I was 12 and I watched it a few times with my brother. It was channel 58, whatever station that was. My mom would let me switch to it after the news. Let me see what I remember." And it says, it took place in Candle Cove, and it was about a little girl who imagined herself to be friends with pirates. The pirate ship was called the Laughing Stock, and Pirate Percy wasn't a very good pirate because he got scared too easily, and there was calliope music constantly playing. Don't remember the girl's name, Janice or Jade or something. I think it was Janice. And then Skyshell responds. I don't know what the time difference between these posts are because the one I'm reading is like just the story copy and pasted.
Gotcha.
You can probably find a better one on the internet, but the one I have linked is just more of like a basic copy paste of this story. And it says, Skyshell responds with, "Thank you, Jaren. Memories flooded back when you mentioned the Laughing Stock in Channel 58. I remember the bow of the ship was a wooden smiling face with the lower jaw submerged. It looked like it was swallowing the sea, and it had that awful Ed Wynn voice and laugh. I especially remember how jarring it was when they switched from the wooden to plastic model to the foam puppet version of the head that talked." Okay, so it's like...
Gross.
Yeah, just like went through changes, I guess, throughout the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mike Painter comes back and says, "Haha, I remember now too. Do you remember this part, Skyshell? Wait, do you remember this part, Skyshell? You have to go inside." That's what he, like, quoting one of the characters. And Skyshell says, Mike, I got a chill reading that. Yes, I remember. That's what the ship always told Percy when there was a spooky place he had to go in, like a cave or a dark room where the treasure was. And the camera would push in on Laughingstock's face with each pause. You have to go inside. You know, like,
Yeah.
Getting closer. And it says, with his two eyes askew, and that flopping foam jaw and the fishing line that opened and closed it, it just looked so cheap and awful. You guys remember the villain? He had a face that was just a handlebar mustache above really tall, narrow teeth. And then someone by the name of Kevin _Hart responds with,
"Perfect.
I honestly thought the villain was Pirate Percy. I was about 5 when the show was on. Nightmare fuel." So a lot of people from just different places are remembering the show collectively. And then Jaren comes back and says, "That wasn't the villain. The puppet with the mustache." Wait, that wasn't the villain. The puppet with the mustache. That was the villain's sidekick, Horace Horrible. He had a monocle too, and it was on top of the mustache. I used to think that meant he only had one eye. But yeah, the villain was another marionette, the Skin Taker. I can't believe.
Excuse me?
I know the name.
Pirate Percy.
Yeah, Laughing Stock.
And then the Skin Taker?
Horrible Horace and Skin Taker. Says, I can't believe what they let us watch back then. Kevin Hart says, "Geez, the Skin Taker? What kind of a kid's show were we watching? I seriously could not look at the screen when the Skin Taker showed up. He just descended out of nowhere on his strings," because they were all like, puppets. Yeah. So it was like really... Yeah, I don't like puppets.
Yeah, they're creepy.
It says, he just descended out of nowhere on his strings. Just a dirty skeleton wearing a brown top hat and cape. And his glass eyes were too big for his skull. And then Skyshell, which, now that we've got most of the characters described, go back to the pictures. I put up multiple, just to say, I put up multiple because, it started off as a story. It didn't have pictures, so people wrote their own art for it.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, these are just 3 of the arts that I found. I kind of like them. They're kind of well done. I mean, there's a ton, but these 3 were like the 3 most notable, popular ones, I believe. But yeah, so you've got like 3 different ways of seeing the characters' depictions.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dude, people are so creative.
Right? I really like seeing art that people make for stuff like this where it doesn't have a visual story to go along with it, so people write their own characters. But yeah, I just thought I'd include that. I like that only one of them has the laughing stock in it. The other 2 are just the characters. But yeah, I thought I'd show that art when I got to the point where all the characters were actually described.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
And it says, one of them said, eyes too big for his skull, and then Sky Shell responds with, wasn't his top hat and cloak all sewn up crazily? Was that supposed to be children's skin? Question mark. It's a crazy assumption, but it kind of fits with the name Skin Taker, I guess. And then Mike Painter said, yeah, I think so. Remember, his mouth didn't open and close. His jaw just slid back and forth. I remember the little girl says, why does your mouth move like that? And the Skin Taker didn't look at the girl, but at the camera, and said, to grind your skin.
Ew.
I know. And then Sky Shell responds to that with, I'm so relieved that other people remember this terrible show. She goes on to say, I used to have this awful memory, a bad dream where the opening jingle ended, the show faded in from black, and all the characters were there, but the camera was just cutting to each of their faces, and they were just screaming, and the puppets and marionettes were flailing spastically, and just all screaming. The girl was just moaning and crying like she had been through hours of this. I woke up many times from that nightmare, and I used to wet the bed when I had it. Isn't that just gross and out of the blue? And then Kevin _Hart responds with, I don't think that was a dream. I remember that. I remember that was an episode.
What the heck?
And then Sky Shell says, no, not possible. There was no plot or anything. I mean, literally just standing in place and crying and screaming for the whole show. And then Kevin Hart responds with, maybe I'm manufacturing the memory because you said that, but I swear I remember seeing what you described. They just screamed. And then Jaren responds with, oh gosh, yes, the little girl Janice. I remember seeing her shake and the Skin Taker screaming through his gnashing teeth, his jaw careening so wildly. I thought it would just come off of its wire hinges. I turned it off, and it was the last time I watched. I ran to tell my brother, and we didn't have the courage to turn it back on. And then, this is the last part of the story. It says, Mike Painter 65 says, I visited my mom today at the nursing home. I asked her about when I was little in the early 70s, when I was 8 or 9, and if she remembered a kid show, Candle Cove, and she said she was surprised I could remember that, and I asked why, and she said, because I used to think it was so strange that you said, I'm going to go watch Candle Cove now, Mom, and then you would tune the TV into TV static and just watch dead air for 30 minutes. You had a big imagination with your little pirate show.
Oh my god. Also, what kind of parent is just letting their child stare at a
dead
TV
screen?
static? Like,
yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, it's terrifying. I just thought I'd, cover this one because the ending is just so out of the blue. It's like, oh yeah, I remember this. It's like 4 or 5 different people saying, oh yeah, I remember that. All putting together, like, yeah, the characters. And then it ends with, yeah, none of that was real. My mom said I was watching TV static the whole time.
I like how simple it is because I feel like it almost adds to, like, the unsettling feeling that you get from it.
Yeah, like the too many gaps in the, just, you don't get the full story. You only get bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh yeah, none of that was real. But everybody remembers it. It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I knew this video was going to be a bit short, but here's my sources. The story itself is at that link. This one, When I clicked on it on my phone, it brought me straight to it, but on my computer, when I clicked on it, you had to click it and then click another link, and then it took you to it.
Oh, gotcha.
So, I got the images off Google, and then other two videos that cover, Candle Cove, probably a little bit better than me, are these two. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this one was... Actually, here, final things. What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like I like that they use, like, I feel like if you want to make something, like, super creepy, just have a bunch of children imagining things.
Yeah, right?
And so I feel like the writer of that did a really good job of capturing that and having, like, some weird thing that kids from a bunch of different places all remember, but the parents don't remember.
Yeah.
Like, I really like that a lot.
I do too. I think it gives you just enough information to make a picture, but not so much that you see the background details. You just get the main picture, and then it's just, here's the twist at the end, and then it just leaves so many questions unanswered.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. I think it's a really well done story because, back then, when people were making creepypastas, they were never long. They were never so intricate and detailed. It was just enough to make it so you couldn't fall asleep that night when you read it. I think it's really cool. Yeah, that is now the end. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.